past 20 years, 2 decades or so, so much has come from our mind that people are not ready to listen anything
Yes.
when we speak from mind.
Yeah.
So the people who subscribe and like those authentic from the heart videos, actually, they are not liking that vlogger. They are somewhere
Missing that.
feeling that this is what is in our heart. So
Mm.
what they are when they are pressing the like, they are liking their emotions and their heart. So in our school, they indoctrinate us for more than 20, 22 years for no use. And then an exam comes and tells you that why you should read things seriously and think and ponder upon it. It's the only exam in the world in which thought-based questions are asked. And their intention was so correct. They wanted to protect our iman. They wanted us not to get swayed away by the storm of the West. And they gave us the kind of training that today we are capable of quoting even the Quran and Hadith. But there was one problem in that. The problem is this, that just like in the caves of the seven sleeper, Quran says that the sunlight never used to enter because the caves were north south. Same way in our madrasas, the technology and its upgradation never used to enter.
Yeah.
इमाम आजम का आप एक चीज मत देखिए that Imam Azam was the greatest religious scholar. Imam Azam Abu Hanifa. Look at other side also. He was also a greatest trader of Syrian and Turkish horses.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the Righteous Rich podcast. And today we have my guest who is from India and he has cracked many things, even IAS. Mashallah, I have to find out what he's exactly into because I have seen him doing a lot of work related to training and encouraging people to go into the businesses, startups, and I have seen him with the background of IAS and IPS. These are the exams which is considered to be in the top of the list in India, and which I am belong to, and I'm proud of what work he is doing, mashallah. And it's not only IAS; he's been getting invited by the biggest institutions like IIT, INIT. These institutions are considered to be the topmost, and the graduates from these institutes are taken to the level where they are working in the global level big brands. So let us know from him. So thank you so much for joining with me for today's session, brother Samir Ahmed Siddiqui. So he has cracked IAS, and I want to know about it because it's a dream for any Indian in India. And what is your background? What is your story? Who inspired you to crack the IAS, and what led you to coaching industry also? Because I think you are into coaching industry very much.
Jazakallah khair, Qazi Sahib. Uh, Thank you so much for having me on your show. Uh, well, I have a very humble background. It's not very inspiring what I have as a background. I was a very average student. I was not a very great rote learner throughout my academic life. Although I used to top the school and perform very well, but I was not always in getting first rank in examination. And I now thanks Allah for that because I've seen a survey done by United States of America for the past 50 years, for which they have a data. The people they qualified their academics in ABCD, and all A grade people are working for B grade people, and the C grade people have become contractors, while the D are doing something very, very bravery, which involves kind of bravery. So I had a very humble background, and then as a run of the mill, I also did my engineering. And in the subcontinent, we have a joke. After doing engineering, you come to know what has to be done. So even after my engineering, I came to know what I have to do. So my father always wanted me to be an IAS. So he inspired me quite a lot, and he was a very big social worker who
Mm-hmm.
had an immense prestige in entire community. So all IAS, IPS people used to visit our home very regularly. So that fascinated me to appear for this exam. And in fourth attempt, in the last attempt, although I qualified in very low ranks, but the people I taught, their rank came second in India. From my own notes, my students got second rank in India. So I decided that I shall start teaching. I must go for teaching. And then I started teaching. And actually, IAS exam qualification is not that big. What is big is the process, the journey. which takes you to economics and history and geography and constitution and current affairs and bilateral relations. It's an exam, if you take it seriously, then it starts retraining of you after the indoctrination of 16 years of education. So in our school, they indoctrinate us for more than 20, 22 years for no use. And then an exam comes and tells you that why you should read things seriously and think and ponder upon it. It's the only exam in the world in which thought-based questions are asked. So when I started my coaching, I also wanted people to believe that it's not coaching, rather soaching. You, you have to keep your hand here and think over, because the questions are such that the Google cannot answer.
Okay.
So earlier the questions used to come like this: that where was Gandhiji born? When did he marry to Kasturba? How was his South African experiment? But now the question is, if Gandhi were alive today, what he might have done. So now that involves thinking over the syllabus of Gandhiji as if Kasturba might have taught. So if Gandhi were alive today, what he might have done, this is the question, the answer to which only Kasturba can give.
Amazing.
So IAS exam preparation forces you to get into the character and start thinking. So my optionals were history and geography, and bilateral relations was my expertise. So one day came like this after 2 or 3 years of preparation, that when I used to take soil in my hand, I could tell the minerals by looking at the color. And I could tell what crops can be supported, what industries can be brought here. So that time I realized, oh my God, the phrase that education is the solution to many things, this is the real meaning of this. So what we have in India and what I am trying to change is this, that in India, we have a factory-based schooling system where we mass produce students like products in batches. In batches. Every year, we punish people for their uniqueness and we want them to fit in. But Alhamdulillah, slowly the trend is changing. Last day, the result came, and everyone whom I know, they got 97%. So that is the first lesson that we are getting. 97% means only one thing, that the percentages are losing weight. Now it's how much you use your education, that is important. तो हजरत अली के एक sentence को, एक proverb of Hazrat Ali रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हा, somebody very nicely translated. Your तालीम is कमाल, but when you use it, that's बेमिसाल. एक तो तालीम कमाल है, लेकिन उसका इस्तेमाल वो बेमिसाल.
Yes.
So Quran also says like this when it says that knowledge is what you gain, but wisdom is what we gain. And when we Google search the word meaning of wisdom, it comes out an ability to infer where to apply knowledge and in what quantity. So that is something which fascinated me and inspired me that really something has to change in education.
Recently, when I interviewed Baba Ali, he said he's a game developer and entertainer and 10 times faster, like in business related work, very fast mind guy. And he said the reason we failed our community or anything which is going on, it's because we stopped taking the technology and in fact accepting the technology. Instead we could have used wisely, like we are using now technology. When we started also, we had a tough time, choosing which one to have as a technology, because everyone has their preference. People like, example for Zoom, people like Zoom, people like Teams, there are so many apps. Imagine the situation where technologies were there and we did not use it. And that I think that's the reason we have lacked and we have failed. And this is what the previous speaker was saying. What's your take on this? What do we really miss on this?
Actually, Quran explained me a lot about this particular thing. There is a one surah of Ashab Kahf in which some very beautiful Iman Parast people, they leave the premises of the society and they go and hide in a cave. And there is a dog accompanying them, and they all are sleeping in the caves. So it is also called in the history as 7 sleepers of the cave, Ashab Kahf. So when T.B. Macaulay brought the Western education, at that time our alims and our Maulana Hazrats, they had a very correct intention, but their execution went wrong. In order to save our Iman, they also went into the caves. The caves we called as madrasas. So what they did, they went and they hid themselves in those madrasas in the rural areas, somewhere isolated, away from urban region. And their intention was so correct. They wanted to protect our iman.
Yeah.
They wanted us not to get swayed away by the storm of the West. And they gave us the kind of training that today we are capable of quoting even the Quran and Hadith. But there was one problem in that. The problem is this, that just like in the caves of the seven sleeper, Quran says that the sunlight never used to enter because the caves were not south. Same way in our madrasas, the technology and its upgradation never used to enter.
Yeah.
And the Quran says that a dog was sitting there. When the people used to approach the cave while looking at the dog, they used to get frightened and run away. Same way our alim's anger was sitting there. Whenever we used to go on madrasa and tell them that the world is changing outside, they used to scold us like something because they did not want that to enter the madrasa's premises. So although we got a very beautiful Islam, thanks to what they did, but somewhere when it came to technology and the modern education, we started lacking. So what was the answer? What should they might have done? The answer lies in Baitul Hikmah, or the House of Wisdom, that the Ottoman Empire used to have in Turkey. So it was not a madrasa only, but the secular books of geometry, algebra, geography, history were brought. And it was not a madrasa only, even the religious text of other religions were also brought.
Oh,
there are famous stories that to Harun Rashid, some Spanish people said that if you want a book of ours to translate into Arabic, we will charge you in gold. The weight of the book shall be given us in gold. And he gave them. And the books were translated in Arabic. And later on from Arabic, the Ottoman Empire was so big, it was subsequently translated in many languages. Even from India, Panchatantra qualified. Panchatantra qualified. And Panchatantra was Kalilava Dimma was its name when it got translated. So one of the solutions that I see for our community, as far as we are educationally backward, is this House of Wisdom or Darul Hikmah, where not only we have the books or the texts of our religion, but of every religion. I can speak at length on Bhagavad Gita and the similarities it has with Sufi Islam. So unless and until you bring all this conjecture in one speech, the people may not be ready to listen to you, at least in this vicious atmosphere, when the poison of hatred has sipped through the society.
Yes.
So my serious recommendation for everyone is to enjoy what subjects they like. And enjoyment also qualifies one more thing on your shoulder, and that is you must take even keen interest in all the other subjects of the world that you don't like. For example, every Muslim or every Hindu wants his point of view to be noted. But as the wisdom says that to get listened, first you have to be a listener. So unless and until you are ready for that, and no one is going to entertain you. So technology is now so much accessible that Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim, they write in their preface that we used to travel 9 days for one hadith.
Yes.
And today, thanks to Google, these hadiths are one click away. One click away.
Yes.
So I want people to utilize this technology to understand the world. And I want them to be first. There is only one way to come ahead of the race. And the race is this. It's not only the human beings against whom now you are competed, but it's also the machines against whom you are competed. For example, no student in the world can ever rote learn how much TED Talks and how much Wikipedia has. So even if today you and I decide to watch all the TED Talks, it will take 9 years for us to get completed.
True. So much of information.
So much of information. So information is useless unless and until you know how to process it. And that is where really the human beings, they have an edge over machines. And that is the real use of technology. If you can develop those human qualities, because the data and the information is so much available that the only thing required is to process that information.
I think you are someone who has really cracked some methodologies on these things. I'm definitely gonna ask you on that also. So I'm noting down 2 things already. So let me check something on the skills you are talking about, Yani. Is it skills like, because there are so many evergreen skills already, like negotiation skills and comprehension, business skills, communication or listening, what like you said while talking to me in beginning. So these, I think, which I'll be talking about it in detail later also. But how much of it is going to be from the mind, and how much of it is going to be from the heart, and what are the some of the futuristic skills you are actually claiming on the websites also, because it's Alif's project is something unique I see, and it has got some 5 to 6 senses which it is mentioned, and which is interesting, and some of the speakers also talk about it, and I think you are also really into it, and you believe that that is gonna be like a futuristic skills. When we have these already so many negotiation or different skills which is evergreen, I would believe, what else is the future skills? I don't think it's gonna be future skills. Maybe I think I feel like these are skills already available, but you are talking about enhancing those skills.
Actually, I was talking with a friend just before I came to your studio, and I was telling him that sometimes it is very wise not to be wise. So he smiled and said, "How is it wise not to be wise?" So I said, "Ki all those negotiation skills and all those conversation maneuvers that we are talking, they will not work when you talk with someone to whom you love. Sometimes even a small holding of hand is sufficient enough. Sometimes when the
Yeah.
blood flows in the capillary of the faces, that's the greatest feedback a teacher can get. So while nowadays I teach on Zoom, I feel I miss those classes where I used to see people changing the colors of the skin. That's a feedback. A teacher decides whether he shall stop and go to the next topic, or another anecdote or example is needed. And these are the things that machines can never qualify. The machines, they will keep speaking. So when in pursuance with your previous question, I told you that knowledge is processing of information.
Yeah.
But wisdom is processing of knowledge. Wisdom means it's not only how you use your knowledge, but in what quantity. So one very beautiful thing that human beings, they have in negotiations is something that machines can never qualify is this, that the same human being, while talking with a 3-year-old, is talking in some different things. And while talking with a president, he is talking in a different tone. So what quantity, what kind of right mixture is required? This is something I believe personally that the machines may take even an entire life, but they may not learn. Because Wikipedia's its job is to display the information. Now it leaves up to you how much information you want to segregate from them. But when you talk with the human being, then Qazi Muhammad Sahab is in what mood? And my answers have to be this short or this lengthy. So those are the skills which were sent on the back burners because everyone wanted to be like a machine. 97% engineering gold medalist. I want to work on projects. I want to be a team head. I want to do this. I want to do that. There was a rat race.
Yes.
But this execution of all the manual work has now been completely overtaken by machines. The only thing which is left in this post-pandemic world is for you to think and design so efficiently that machines cannot match. So Allah Pak Quran mein kehta hai ki, you don't know, to angels he says, you don't know what I know. I'm sending my Khalifa. And the Khalifa was preparing 24 years of his education to become a laborer. Now that labor work is gone in the hands of machines.
Yes.
And the Khalifa has to think now. If you are writing a book, what unique things can you write in your book so that it becomes from heart? You asked me a question, how much of it has to come from mind and how much of it has to come from heart?
Yes.
In the past 20 years, 2 decades or so, so much has come from our mind that people are not ready to listen anything when we speak from mind.
Yeah.
I have a great evidence of it in your phone, smartphone. There is a folder of promotional messages. You have never opened that message folder. आपने आज तक वो folder खोल के भी नहीं देखा है कि how many advertisements have gathered in your mobile. Because we are so much fed up and disgusted of people feeling like that we are the fools and they can send their advertisement and we are going to read every advertisement. But when you speak from your heart, now that they are very much ready to listen because that is something unique.
Yes.
When everyone is speaking from mind, let there be some people who speak from heart. So Allama Iqbal was the first one to recognize this. He said, "Dil se jo nikli hai baat, dil par asar rakhti hai. पर नहीं ताकते परवाज मगर रखती है." मतलब it does not have the wings, but it has an ability to fly. So welcome to a new century. I many times say this to my students, where your answers will stand different from the rest of the society if you directly write from heart.
Mm, mm.
Because after many editings, people have written on Wikipedia. So if you simply copy that, it may not serve the purpose anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have to write something that, see, Apple became a brand not because of the inherent beautiful qualities that Apple products they have. It is because of the speech that Steve Jobs used to give.
Yeah.
So when we purchase anything of Apple, it's less for branding. It's more the person who spoke from the heart. That in 2 decades we are going to enter every home because we have this uniqueness in our product. So I think this is the century in which we have stepped in, and the millennials they know it, and the Gen Z they know it.
Mm-hmm.
Information is so much available that it
Abundance
is
of information.
and it is no information actually. The
Yes.
information is only while we speak from the heart.
Yeah. That's why it's called like any. It depends on how this age will be used. Is it going to be conceptual age or not?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not.
No.
So YouTube gives me a feedback. He says that average viewing of a video is of 3 minutes, but we
Hmm.
don't know how your videos are viewed 9 minutes to 11 minutes. But while showing the statistics to my staff, I tell them that this is the only reason is that let's speak the truth and let's
Yes.
speak it directly from the heart.
Yes. That's why
So
recently I have seen the behind the scenes and the vlogging, and I don't understand like why it is going viral and so much of like attention is given to that one.
absolutely,
It looks like
absolutely.
they want the originality, authenticity. They are not worried about the quality of the video. It's not worried about what machines you are using. It's like, is it coming real? It's real. I can see live.
How nicely you gave them the words. Actually, that is the reason. Bunch of friends eating on a restaurant and longing it in a video and telling about the food and its taste has millions of views.
Yeah. It's just,
Yes.
I did not understand this. It makes sense when I'm talking to you. Like it's something which is coming from the heart, and this is their sharing. And only those who
There
are
was
sharing with the heart, it's accepting.
there was one bureaucrat. I was listening to him. Abhay Shukla is his name.
Hmm.
He's a very great writer. So he was asked that why senior bureaucrats they don't ever take a stand. So he spoke so nicely and said that we have 33 vertebrae in our spine. And when we qualify for IAS, every year we lose one. So as we become very senior, all those vertebrae in the spine are gone and we never take a step. I got a lesson that keeping a spine is so important.
Yes.
Keeping a spine is so important. Matlab, I ask you one question, rather I ask my interviewer one question that on what basis and on what criteria are you going to measure your life? Just to give an understanding to our listeners, when was the last time you were so happy? You were so happy that you felt like that I have lived my entire life in this moment. When was the last
I'll tell you now, talking to you, it's like heart to heart talk.
time? No, apart from this,
Apart
when was
from
the
this,
last time?
really, it's mostly like now whenever I'm sitting with friends or someone who is like, hey,
No, your personal life's one that day that you might like to share with us when you were literally felt you were very alive. It may be recently or it may be long back.
being alone or while talking to
Well,
anybody.
only just your heart said that this is what you are living for. This is the moment of life.
Okay, this is moment of life. I think mostly sometimes when I'm helping anybody,
Yes, yes,
it makes me it is completely different. I cannot explain that. It's
absolutely,
like if you
absolutely.
become someone like any, even if you think that you are an angel for somebody sent from Allah, you are just someone who is through you, Allah is giving happiness to somebody, and if you become that person, actually that is when I feel like that's the real essence of my
Absolutely.
life, and
So
I should be
when I
happy.
asked you this question, you take a pause of 20 seconds to think back,
Yeah.
frame an answer. And that might have happened 1 week ago or 1 month ago or 1 year ago when you felt like I'm alive. So the question is this, that if that was life 1 year ago, and even I was happy very much 1 year ago, and then you ask me, okay, fine, this is the first instance. What about the second instance? When was you second most happy? Then again, we think it means that we have lived only one or two moments in our
It's
entire
moments. Yeah,
life.
yeah.
For the rest of the life, we were just breathing.
Yes.
We were breathing.
Yes.
Last time you helped, you told us that last time you helped someone, you felt really like I was sent for this by Allah Pak. What about after that and before that? It means we were only breathing. We were breathing creatures.
Yes.
That is not the life.
Yes.
The life
I get it.
is when we fulfill our destiny to an extent that every part of our body and mind and spirit and soul,
Enjoying that one. Yeah.
then the heart says, yeah, this is the moment for which you were born. This is the moment. So, एक दुआ है, not by some very Sufi prophet or some people, but by Winston Churchill, who is a very controversial figure in history. He's considered as the father of England, but he had enmity with the father of our nation, Gandhiji. But Winston Churchill used to do one prayer. That is the only thing I borrowed from his biography. He said to Allah Pak, either take me to the highest pinnacles or take me to the most ugliest struggle. But for God's sake, don't give me a normal life.
The mediocre life. Yeah.
Either you take me to the seventh sky, let me rule the entire world, or you make so much tragedies on me that I have to tackle every day of war. But for God's sake, don't give me a normal 9 to 5 life. It is as good as I am dead, and I don't want to be dead while I'm living.
Yes. Agree. That's what happening. I think the mental issues, the mental health issues are too much nowadays.
So the people who subscribe and like those authentic from the heart videos, actually, they are not liking that vlogger. They are somewhere
Missing
feeling that this is what is in our heart. So what they are when they are pressing the like, they're liking their emotions and their heart. And those are the great example. Now I will quote subsequently. Okay, you told me and you taught me that sometimes it's wise not to be wise. And that moment is authenticity, when things are coming straight from the heart, unedited, unpolished.
Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, some of the skills, since we are talking about the skills, like are not taught in the schools.
Yes.
I'm glad that I had great teachers who empowered me in some areas which I was really good at naturally, Annie, you can say. But I guess now it's really kind of important to excel education, but for that, you need some kind of extra methodologies. I think you, when you went into IAS, choosing the higher level goals, you were able to get those skills, especially in comprehending any, able to learn the learning process, and those things are not taught in the schools. I think, Yani. I think you were promoting and you were teaching some of the key skills. I think I would like to know some key skills, any briefly. So because I think to have some kind of educational any knowledge, in to process it and have that in like you said, wisdom level things, you need to have this holistic manner of thinking. And I think you have these jotted down into 6 key skills, I think. And I would like to know a bit on that, inshallah, maybe the audience also.
Actually, in schools, they teach us what Gandhiji did, what Dr. Ambedkar did. And that is what even the Wikipedia is telling us,
Yes.
or even the Google is telling us. But what is required nowadays is a comparison of Gandhiji with Dr. Ambedkar. So the questions in the coming generations, they will face in exam is this. They will be given a question paper and an answer sheet, and they will be allowed to sit in front of any internet or any book, but yet they cannot answer. The questions will be like this. Compare the Gandhiji style of leadership with B.R. Ambedkar and tell us who did better. That is something which will test the genius out of you. This is what we teach at alifs.org.
Yes.
Another question is like this, that first battle of Panipat and the second battle of Panipat and the third battle of Panipat, and who won and who lost and what were the causes and who were the lead actors.
People hate those.
But now there's the question they ask is this, why so many battles were fought in Panipat only?
Yeah.
So Delhi is our home, the capital, and Panipat is the gateway to Delhi. And whenever the invaders come, it's better to fight on gate. So they used to go till Panipat and stop the enemy there only, so that they get a second chance in Delhi. This kind of thinking is what is education. This kind of thinking is required. Yeah. This is called as, for example, there is one cognitive behavioral bias in which frogs are sitting in a tub and the heat of the water is being increased slowly. and the frogs are talking with each other and saying, "Cool, man, the water is still cool." So this is one cognitive behavioral bias that we need to understand is now being practiced by government in raising the diesel and petrol prices. So instead of giving you a 20 rupees rise, they are giving you 30 paise daily, a rise of 30 paise daily, 1 rupees daily. And we all as a frogs, we are sitting there and saying, "Cool, man, it's still very cool." That we teach at alifs.org, how to think, how to bring creativity to what you are reading. How can you solve problem? Sometimes you can copy the problem, you can copy the solution to a problem from n number of sources. For example, Harappans, when they were the first people to live in India, and they had an excellent canal system in which they used to divert the rivers during the rainy season, and they used to store the water for the agricultural occupation for the rest of the year. Considering India's driest part was where they used to live, in the desert regions. Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh converted that into a program called as MG Narega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, in which you have to dig your ponds and you have to store them during the 3 months of rainy season, so that for next 3 months you get enough water for making the crops. So problem solving, you never know the solution will come from where. And that is the purpose of education. This is what we teach at alifs.org. Sometimes, if you are a very big businessman, this is an exercise which is suggested by us in our entrepreneurship program. Go to your staff and ask them, how are we unique? And you sit there as a customer, as a critic of your own organization. So ask your staff, how are we unique? And then you see the expressions on their faces. They will take you to places and give you answers which will never convince you. That's the greatest feedback you get on your enterprise. Oh my God, we literally need to be unique. Otherwise, we are just another rat in the rat race.
Yes.
So the second question you must ask your staff is this: tell me some 7 or 8 points that our competitor can do better than us. And give them an hour and they jot down 7, 8 points. Tell them, these are the things we are going to do in order to kill our competition. So before our competition does that, let's jot down what our competition can do and let's do it for ourselves. That is what we teach at alifs.org. And these are the things that we know when we are on ground, when we face the actual context. So sometimes somebody said very nicely, it's not the knowledge which is important, but it is the context which is more important. So I was talking with someone that, see, in the times of Prophet, people slaughtering animals in Qurbani, they used to bring huge amount of ghost to the Prophet. And the Prophet was also having the have-nots who were not having anything. And he used to rechannel and distribute it immediately.
Yeah.
And that way, these people are also satisfied and these people are also satisfied. Now, the Prophet is not there, but his traditions are still there. Can we convert it into an app where people having something surplus can bring to us, and the people who are not having anything, we can channelize there? That is the real purpose of Qurbani. Say, for example, Oxfam India report says that in every minute, 11 people they die because of hunger. And today is the second day of Qurbani. All our refrigerators are filled and there is no space. And our spouses are yelling at us that itna gosht main kahan rakhu. And there are countries in which people have not eaten for the past 2 days. Let it be Ethiopia or Somalia, or Yemen, or a recent addition is there in the list of Afghanistan. Is there someone who can do something? Is there Imam Kaaba who is known for giving so nice khutbahs? Can he solve that problem? Can he channelize it into an app? And Mohammed bin Salman talking with Prime Minister Modi that let the photo of Modi ji be there like this, and Muslims shall give their ghost to them. I forget about that. I yesterday did a very nice thing. I always believe that Qurbani and Bakri Eid is not a festival for Muslims. It is an opportunity for Muslims to invite non-Muslims. So these 3 days, we shall invite all the non-Muslims and give them a taste of authentic Mughal. So I was in an RSS school. I grew up there. I had friends and they are so close. And I called my entire class. And I told them and I fed them with my hands. And I told them, see, this is how it is. So these are the things that our generation has to think about. This is what we teach. And these are the things which separates and distinguishes us from machines. These are the things which distinguishes us from machines. And that is so important for us to realize now. That is so important. Somebody made a WhatsApp to connect people. The IT cell of political organizations use that to disconnect us. How can we use that? That problem solving, that creativity, that contrarian thinking, that storytelling is something that makes us ashraful makhlukat. And that is the purpose of Alif.org, to train our coming generations in that, so that when they celebrate their Eid, they try to solve this problem. How can we connect the have-nots with the haves? To tell businessmen that how Apple grew, how this Amazon grew, how Google became a worldly enterprise, or what steps they took, what steps we need to take. At the same time, highlighting what wrong steps they took, and what we will be answerable to Allah if we also take. So let's avoid that and copy this. Somebody has to analyze these characters and the pattern and tell this to our ummah, who were sleeping in caves for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the purpose of Alif.org.
So it's like these kind of trainings will definitely help in education and even life, basically, you say.
Yeah. Even from reading, how to read, how to speak, how to remember, how to solve problem, how to bring creativity, how to tell a story, how to penetrate hearts, how to design something that even a machine cannot design, how to make an enterprise world class. All these real world self-knowledge is what is the objective of, at least nowadays, my life, to teach people.
See, since it's something, and I think maybe that's the reason I'm thinking like teachers are not, really getting fulfilling financially. Their roles are not really made in such a way that they can really 100% qualify. That's the reason the coaching industry has grown up a lot. It's like any maybe alternative for teaching. So now I don't know how many of them are money driven or how many of them are purpose driven. So what is your take on that, Yani? Because
In Alif.org, I made one rule that we will never hire an MBA for marketing, no matter how slow we grow. Because when in between the students and the teachers, when the marketing comes, they start all kinds of marketing gimmicks.
yes,
And that is where the quality of education goes away, and a school becomes an education mall.
yes,
Education mall. And education mall, let me speak this directly to many school owners who are listening to us. Education malls, they don't have life. All engineering colleges in India, they have gone bankrupt and they have filed for bankruptcy. At least 80% of them. In Nagpur, I know where I live, 22 engineering colleges, 16 have filed for bankruptcy.
oh my god.
So what they can teach in 4 years, the Coursera or an interview of a good person on YouTube can teach you in minutes. And people are now recognizing that this entire industry in the name of education is such a big spam. And
Yes,
self-education
yes,
is something
yes.
so important. So engineering colleges are closing. Nowadays in India, you see a trend. Every school owner is promising children that if you come to us, we will teach you IAS from 8th standard. So they may not teach. क्यों? मैं जब पढ़ाता हूँ IAS, I feel like मुझे 3.5 hours of lecturing के लिए 14 hours I have to study myself.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So if you invite me for a dawat, in between that, I will go in my auto rickshaw or car with a book open. Then you will greet me, you will feed me, and then I will come back at my home with a book open. That much depth is required from a teacher. Nobody can match that.
Yes.
Nobody can match that. See, when Americans, they tried, this is world history, when Americans, they tried to colonize Japan, there was a very enlightened emperor of Japan. He opened his treasury and asked the wise people to come and take as much wealth as they want. Take this wealth, go to America, bring me one thing which makes America so great. So this is in world history, it is given. And those wise people took the wealth, they went to America and they brought from there, do you know what? They brought from there the teachers. And they multiplied their packages, which they used to get in America, by 8 times. And when they talk to the Japanese, Japan is the only nation in Asia which is developed, which is so very leader in everything.
Yes.
And they live on a volcano. This is geographically speaking,
Yes.
Japan is nothing but a series of volcanic islands which have
Yes.
coalesced together.
Yes.
So teacher is so important. Another study is there in the Reader's Digest that in South America, Stanford University, I think they did this experiment. They went to a slum and they took the ugliest people, small children, and they wrote all the information about them, cataloged it, and they returned, and they forget it to return after 20 years to see what happened to them. So after 20 years, when they returned and they traced every person whose record was with them, and they were surprised. One was a lawyer, another was a doctor, another was a teacher, another was a professor, another was a great politician, and they were asked in the studio, all of them were called and asked, कि, यार ऐसा क्या हुआ 20 साल में कि all of you were hopeless and today you have become the leaders of society.
Yes.
And they said कि हमें इस 20 साल में एक teacher मिल गया. All of us, we got a teacher. And that teacher changed the entire slum of ours. Allah ke Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say that I'm not proud of anything, whatever God has given to me, but I'm thankful to Him for everything that He has given to me, except one thing which I'm proud of. That my Allah has made me a teacher. That is so important. That is so important.
It was.
And it's not only that ki,
It was like a noble profession. Now.
Noble, very noble.
It's unfortunately, if you come, whether it's Middle East or anywhere, maybe it's the pay they are giving, because the way the standard of living is also going up, and there is so much of partialities, or you can say racism in that also. If it is Indian, you're giving $300 or 300 dinars, which we call here, and the person who is coming from British or somewhere else, you're giving them 3 times of that. What kind of equality you are having, and how do you expect? Because India is giving such a value education, if teachers want, but unfortunately maybe this is the reason, I guess, the financial support.
But actually, even I would like to add something to that a teacher is the sunshine that a plant needs.
Yes.
But do not think that sunshine alone is enough. Everyone has to play its role. The soil has to play its role. The manure has to play its role. The oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen has to play their role. The rain has to play its role. The cloud has to play its role. So in between a teacher and a student, the entire family ecosystem, the leaders of the society, the grand people of the family, our mother and father, our Maulanas in the masjid, our Pandits in the temple, everyone has to play a role.
Yeah, agree.
The media to which we are exposed, the interviews that we listen to, the things that we read, the books that we have in our libraries, that's our ecosystem which decides how this plant will germinate.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays a new thing has come. And sir, you are such a great teacher, you do it. Well, if I do it, then another one says, sir, you are not that great teacher. What you are trying to tell us to become worldly. आप कह रहे हो Fortune 500 company में कैसे जाना है? You are telling us all this rubbish worldly things. See, I am telling you worldly with an expectation in my heart that the Maulanas or the scriptures or the religious books to which you are exposed to, they will keep you religious. If they keep you religious and I push you towards competitive advantage in this world, the plus and minus of the two forces will make you the Khalifa, which Allah has promised to His angels. Imam Azam का आप एक चीज मत देखिए that Imam Azam was the greatest religious scholar, Imam Azam Abu Hanifa. Look at other side also. He was also a greatest trader of Syrian and Turkish horses. So it's not mutually exclusive that you either excel in world or you excel in religion. All the forces have to act on you so much. Who is Qazi Muhammad today? A person who has appearance of his grandfather, his parents, his teacher, the books he reads, the people with whom he sits. And people with whom we sit is so important. That is called Sahaba. Sohbat se bana hai Sahaba. It's so important that we sit in a very correct company. Sohbat se Sahaba. And it is written in Islam that no one of you can ever match Sahabas because they have done one ibadat that you can never match. And we say, Allah Pak, we keep roza, we do namaz. What is that one ibadat? So Quran says that they have sat in the sohbat of my Prophet. That sohbat is so important.
Yeah.
So these are the things that we are.
So overall things, yeah.
So these are the things. Just before coming to you, I read one line somewhere. और उसमें इतनी गहराई थी, I won't even translate that line. It said that हालत खराब हो गई है इस कदर, हालत खराब हो गई है इस कदर, that all of us have to act. ऐसा नहीं है कि बस one person will take the entire leadership. ना, each one of us, each one of us. See, I never praise Jews because I consider them as a crime against humanity, what they have been doing in Palestine. At the same time, I also say that all Jews are not equal. There are many Jews who are resistant against the idea of greater Israel. But there is one thing which, there are many things actually which we can learn from them. एक उसमें से है कि when the ladies are pregnant there, they solve mathematical exercises and they read some literature. In Islam, it is being advised that you must read your scriptures when you are pregnant. Let's add solving mathematical exercises to that. What's the harm?
Yeah.
Read Quran when you are pregnant. At the same time, try to solve some puzzles.
Have both heart and mind.
Because when you start solving some puzzles, your neurons, they rearrange themselves. It has some bearing on your embryo also. So why don't you add something good, what they have to offer?
Yes.
Second very beautiful thing that we can copy from Jews is their memory is very long and they keep constantly reminding to themselves what has happened to them.
Yes.
What has happened to them? What has happened to them? And that serves as a positive push. When I look at our community, we are not even ready to draw lessons from what is happening to us. They are remembering what happened to us. And we are not ready to see, just like an ostrich, we want to close our eyes and don't want to see what is happening to us. What is happening to us?
Yes.
आज पूरे घरों में, आज second day of Bakrid, Eid al-Azha, or the third day of Eid al-Azha, everyone is talking about गोश्त गला है कि नहीं गला है. How is this dish tasty? When will you see those fallen leaves of Afghanistan or Somalia and what wrong things they did and what we can learn from there and how can we help them? And why are we so helpless that we can't do anything for them on a humanitarian basis? What wrong things did the Taliban is telling? What are the lessons we can draw from there for our republic, our democracy? We are not into that. We are only where our world is very small. Our world is very small, and I am very much worried to an extent that imagine जब हम छोटे थे, we were having friends from so many shades. But when we grew up, we are in the WhatsApp groups where people of only one shades are there. So they are getting hate messages against us. We are getting hate messages against them. And we have compartmentalized and we believe that whatever we speak is correct. So right to decent is gone. वरना हजरत उमर की मस्जिद में एक सहाबी खड़े हुए and he said, "Oh Umar, I see your pehran, what you are wearing. Same blanket came to me also, but my height is small and I cannot make pehran for myself. How come you are wearing your pehran? Have you taken two blankets?" Hazrat Umar smiled and said, "Kiska jawab mere bete denge, Abdullah ibn Umar." And Abdullah ibn Umar stood up and said, "One blanket came to me also, which I gave to my father. That's the reason I'm having one pehran." So that Sahabi felt so very thrilled and he wanted to sit, and Hazrat Umar said, "Please don't sit." And he came and he kissed him and hugged him and said, "Unless people like you will be there in Islam, right to accountability, right to ask correct questions, Islam will always be alive." Now, before these adversities, we were not even ready to speak to each other. We were in so many firqas.
Yes.
So many firqas. All WhatsApp groups giving us only what we want to listen. When I make a WhatsApp group, I add those friends who have same likings on this topic.
Yeah. Not ready to take feedbacks and criticism.
इससे पहले ऐसा होता था कि मैंने कुछ कहा, आपने मना कर दिया, थर्ड वाले ने कहा नहीं आई एग्री, फोर्थ वाले ने फिर मना कर दिया, and that thought of mine used to get refined. And then I used to declare it as a theory. This is the love. Now I say this, you say right.
Everybody.
Next one says right. right. And one who does not say right, he simply leaves the group. अरे रुको तो सही. Let's have a talk.
Opinion. Yeah. No dialogue is going on. There is no dialogue happening.
So biryani is a great thing for initiating the dialogue again. We must call people on biryani.
Okay, so I would like to like I think this is what you are hinting towards to have purposeful dialogues, purposeful meetings, and purposeful lifestyle, so that there is more good coming out, more benefits coming out for the humanity, which is a good thing which you are propagating everywhere. And what is the probability, according to you, for a whole global level, getting into the golden age? Are we going to get into golden age or not? Yani? Because the automation, the new change which is coming and has come already. We are into technology more than before. We never had this distance education before. We never recognized distance education. We never wanted distance education to be recognized. Now, those who are into distance education, they are getting much more preferences, and I think the experience matter more than the certification. I think that's something has made a big shift. And what is your take on this? Yani? What do you think?
Well, the question is so categoric that you said that what is our chances or probability of getting back to that golden age? What I love about Allah Pak is this: He would never ask us, "Why didn't you have you taken us back to the golden age?" His question is so beautiful. Allah says, "Why haven't you tried? Why haven't you tried?" You say, "Oh, Allah Pak, I was not having that kind of energy or thinking, and I have this excuse and that excuse." And Allah will smile back on you and says, कि जितना एनर्जी था, जितना ताकत, जितनी सलाहियत थी, उतना क्यों नहीं किया? You have to, you have to at least try that way. When you say that, are we ever supposed to go back to that golden age? The answer frightens me so much. Because let artificial intelligence and let this machine learning take over everything. We rather welcome it. Let they do the labor job while we enjoy this world as human beings. And if the political will and the attitude of that supreme head is so correct that he evenly distributes the resources amongst everyone,
Yeah.
let machine do the labor and let insan do, let man or the people they do what they like. That's like Jannat here. Why are we so much fascinated by Jannat? Everyone has their own reason. But one prime reason, which we can underline in everyone's answer, is this: nobody has to work in Jannah, and we can do what we want for betterment. Let AI and this machine produce everything what we need. Let there be a supreme head who distributes things equally. And then our Jannat is here. We are not into 9 to 5 job. We are teaching people, making some help or welfare for people. We are living the life. We are writing a book. We are sitting with some Chinese friends and talking with them. Oh, how is your society? There is one place in Pakistan, Peshawar. What I like about Peshawar is that Peshawar had a confluence of 4 international highways of the Silk Road. So people from India and China and Russia and Afghanistan and Iran, they used to converge in that part of Peshawar and talk with each other. And do you know what is the name of that place in Peshawar? It is called Kissa Khwani Bazaar. They used to converge there and tell stories to each other.
Okay.
That in our China this happens. Indian used to say, oh, in our India this happens. Irani used to say, in our Iran these spices are used. They used to exchange. That's how Panchatantra went.
Yeah.
to Iran, and it got converted and translated into Kalil wa Dimba. And that is the Jannah. Let everyone have a story to tell. Otherwise, we work so hard only to survive that at the end of the day, on the last day, with the last breath, we think back and see, oh my God,
We did not do anything.
what have I done with my life?
Yes.
So that, but unfortunately, on a negative note, we use this technology for surveillance, to stifle the voices of decent, for unequal distribution of wealth.
Yes.
Artificial intelligence is concentrating the wealth in the hands of few people.
Yes.
62 people in this world, they have wealth which is more than 3.6 billion bottom people combined. Only 62 people, they have this much wealth. And this wealth they use for advertisement. No jobs are generated. Not even the wealth is distributed. This inequality is the problem with everything. When people accuse Muslims of all the wrongs that has ever happened in the world, I smile back on them and I tell them only one thing that is there. And this is, see, our only crime of Muslims is that we are very poor. We are poverty stricken, bottom of the pyramid people, where we were not exposed to this kind of technology and education, unfortunately. Till the day we were exposed to, we were ruling, we were so elite class, we were nice. Today we are poverty stricken because of this inequality. And there are people who had so much amount of wealth. Imagine somebody gives me a remote and tells you can rewind the entire world. So when will you like to go back? So I will press that and go back into 1940s when oil was struck in Saudi Arabian Peninsula. And I want its king who discovered that oil to convince him to open the universities in the rest of the world, teaching people from this oil level. Only investment, irrespective of religion, make institutions after institution. Let them study, let them study, let them study.
Yes.
But unfortunately, we know where these oil revenues were used, and we are here where we are.
So true.
So true, you see.
Hmm.
So our Kissa Khwani Bazaar is YouTube now, where people from Bahrain and India and Pakistan, they vlog. I see Pakistani food bloggers telling us some authentic Mughlai. There is one hotel there in Lahore. It is called Arif Chatkara. So they will log the dishes of Arif Chatkara in that video. But what I am interested in is in not the video, the comments. And it is written there, love from India,
Oh, really, really, yeah,
love
yeah,
from
yeah.
India. And
Wonderful.
there are
Thank
some
you.
people who are giving us the secret recipes from Pakistan of spices. And it is written in the comment that in India, I tried this in my hotel and the results are amazing. I'm Vikas Kumar. And then
Oh,
another Sunita, she writes that when you say Bismillah Rahman Rahim before cooking, that fascinates me. And there are people from Pakistan who write the same thing from Indian people. So our Kissa Khwani Bazaar has come down to this YouTube.
YouTube. At least something is happening there. Coming to
So,
your, because I think you have covered almost like from Surah Kahf, the topic of money, the topic of faith, and topic of. I think you have pretty much you know caught some ideas when you were saying about the money which is going to the top 62 people. I think this is power now. Let me just check on your thoughts on the power, the philosophy of the power. So since you are coaching and the deal here is, I think you're dealing everyone now and then about like the good position people and the blind spots they have. Because now when you have power, the perspective taking from others, I think you have touched a little bit on that. Why it's so difficult for people with power to see the perspectives of their employees? Yani? Why when they get the power, why it's
uh,
difficult for them to see that way?
there was a Greek philosopher, his name was Seneca. He answered it very nicely. But he said in his book on the shortness of life, Seneca is a Greek philosopher. He said that these people who rule us, they are slaves. What a contrarian statement. They rule us and they are slaves. How is it possible? So he goes on to explain that they are enslaved by the positions they held. Now, they don't want to hear anything from us. They only want to hear those opinions which will keep their rule elongated. Now, the rest of their life is gone only to elongate their ruling.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
That is the reason they are not ready to listen to anything from us. They only want to rule as long as they can. This is also an advice to those YouTubers who are very much fascinated and impressed by likes and subscribers. When a good like comes in millions and the subscribership goes very huge, then you become enslaved of that subscribership and likes.
Yes.
When I got your message, you told me that, see, the number of people who may watch us may be less, but I want them to be very good people who will watch us. It does not matter how many millions are watching. It matters how few are watching us. Are they of that caliber?
Yes.
So all of us have become enslaved. One friend of mine, he has more than 50 acres of land. And he is in farm always, looking after his estate. And when he meets me, I want to tell him that you have become enslaved by your property. On the last day, you may recognize that all this life I have been a caretaker. All this life I have been a kid. So one day when I said like this, he became very angry and said, "What have you done in your life?" So I told him that there is something which can free us from this enslavement. He said, "Who is that?" The books.
Mm.
For example, Rumi, Ghazali, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Hitler, all of these people, all positives and negative ones, they live in my shelf. And I can seek appointment with anyone and every one of them at my will. And when they teach the learnings of their entire life in few pages, I live their life in few pages and few minutes. अल्लाह के रसूल says that जिसके घर हदीस की किताब होती है उसके घर मैं खुद रहता हूँ. Are you willing to have that conversation with them? Hitler, what wrong you did? Ya Rasulullah, what right things you did? Mahatma Gandhi, why people call you the father of this nation? Tell me. So, who is the greatest teacher? I want to tell this to my kids. Both of them are very small now. But one day they will understand. That day I will tell them.
Yeah.
Let curiosity be your mentor. Let curiosity be your mentor.
I think
कई
that's
बच्चे आते हैं वो पूछते हैं सर पैशन कैसे पता चलता है? What is the passion of life? So I say it has 3 symptoms and a rider. तो का 3 symptoms क्या है? तो का passion first symptom is this. When you perform that passionate work, instead of draining energy, your energy becomes double. रात को कोई आके कहता है बंद कर दो बस करो हो गया. That is your passion. When you go to bed, you keep thinking savera kab hoga, tomorrow I will do like this. That is passion. Symptom number 1. Second is when you see anyone else performing the same, you become very angry because you know the right way and you can't stand him doing the wrong things.
Yeah.
That's the second symptom of passion. And the third symptom of passion is this, that passion, after becoming your second nature, invites you to experiment a bit and you start experimenting something in that. Do you know something beautiful that I have discovered about passion is this? Passion changes with age in life.
Oh.
So all the youngsters who are listening to me, yes, it is very important that you find one passion and stick to it, but not for your entire life, long enough. You stick to it long enough. Because after some time with your age, that passion will change.
Interesting.
That passion will change. For example, I wanted always people to listen to my point of view, no matter what they do. And I used to consider myself as very righteous. Now, 3 years remaining for my 40th birthday, slowly, I have stopped explaining. I have stopped explaining people. And even the negative comments, I saw one lady, she was, actually no negative comments ever come. But even if one comes, I take it like, I write it on the walls of my office. So what she did, she was a singer in UK Has Got Talent. And what she did, whenever she used to sing, now all negative comments used to come. What she did, she wrote a song using those negative comments. She wrote a song using those negative comments, and that became her greatest hit.
Wow.
That became her greatest hit. So it is so important, our ability to withstand when the things are not in favorable to us. Are you ready to listen to the contrarian viewpoint?
Yes.
And people are not ready. Do you know what is the difference between hearing and listening? In hearing, we hear only to respond. And we are waiting impatiently. जब ये चुप होगा, I will speak my point. That is hearing. And listening, we listen and start an introspection. We start an introspection. The words are hitting our heart and we start thinking, oh my God, that is so right. So I ask everyone who are listening to start listening. Don't go for hearing.
Yes. Those days are gone. Like we listen to the old, grandpas and grandmas, and the families have become micro, and we miss those days. And I feel it's more painful when they leave me than the who is of less age less than those people, because they have so much of experience, they have enjoyed the life basically, and they have so much to empower us. And those things are missed, yani. How many of us sit with the oldies now?
Yesterday, my uncle was driving and I was sitting next to him, and he said, "कि इस साल आम बहुत अच्छा हुआ है. The mangoes are everywhere on the branches. India में this year the crop of mango has become so very abundant." I said to him, and he said yes. I said to him, one of the reasons why we are seeing so much mangoes on the trees is that the children who are supposed to throw stones on these mangoes, they are busy in their mobiles. They are
Okay.
busy in their mobiles. Let me speak it in Hindi that आम का पेड़ शर्मिंदा है क्योंकि उस पर पत्थर चलाने वाला बचपन मोबाइल में खो गया.
Such a great observation. See,
Can you imagine? And we can't help this. एक क्वेश्चन है मेरा आपसे काजी साहब, आपकी फैमिली में कितने लोग?
we
How
are
many people do
we are
you
three
have?
brothers and my parents and my wife and my son.
Total number of
Total is
countries?
like 3, 5, 7, 8, 7, 8. It's
Eight.
now small because we are staying away. Yeah.
Eight is good size actually. Who is in the family who understands you most?
The youngest brother.
Youngest brother. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Actually, the answer is wrong. In
Mother,
your
of
family,
course, if you see, if I want really something which is like I am failing or something like emotionally which I want to talk, which I cannot talk with the brother, younger brother, right? So if I'm like, "Okay, Mom, I feel like YouTube is doing very well. The podcast is really doing very well. I don't think it's very important. There are so many things already people are doing it. So why should I be doing it, Annie? And it's not feeling like I have to do. If she's like, what you're doing, it's helping few, at least few. Just do it. Don't bring anything else. So see, if you talk to the mother, you have so much of response from her. I have like I either I have to go with the mother or depends.
तो दुनिया में सबसे अच्छा आपको आपके younger brother and sister, they understand. But the answer is, who in the entire family understands you most? Who at your home understands you most? The answer is YouTube.
Really?
After when I thought of this answer, I also laughed. But then again, the YouTube knows my emotions,
Yeah,
my likes,
yeah.
my
No, no doubt,
dislikes,
no
my
doubt.
secrets,
Yes, yes,
my likes, my dislikes,
yes.
what genre, what mood I
Exactly,
am in.
exactly. What you need next.
When I go to YouTube, it offers me 7 to 8 videos, and I select one, and YouTube immediately understands, which is an algorithm. It understands, oh my God, he's in this mood. And then he serves me 6 next videos on the same mood.
Yes.
And when he feels like I have become enchanted, the moment I press yes, like, the YouTube algorithm searches another mood for me because now I am exuberant. And I don't even touch the YouTube. Imagine this, imagine this. What kind of children are we upbringing?
Yes. In fact,
We don't.
brother, I was using YouTube on the browser actually. I'm not using app in this my phone, although I have good phone, alhamdulillah. But I'm still not using the app. But still, it is able to, catch your emotions and ideas or what you like on the browser also.
Yes,
Still,
and
you are
that too,
not in control.
without touching,
Yes,
without talking to it. Just we have to just sit in front of it, and it selects
yes,
everything for us. That is what frightens me. That
yeah.
family members are not talking with each other. The algorithms are talking.
Agree,
The
agree,
algorithms are talking.
agree.
And if you will not understand your child very nicely, YouTube and Facebook will understand them more nicely,
And can lead to anything.
and that can lead to anything.
It's, this is what
So,
Khansab, Khansab was worried. You have said rightly said because this is something which is YouTube now. I think which now next level I believe it's going to be VR, the virtual reality. It's already working and people are really getting into it. They are constructing in that, they are fighting in that. I don't know what's happening. The reality, the virtual reality is another level. We don't know how it is going to be. It's
people
something
are
very
sitting together, and three of them are disconnected from sitting together, and they are engaged with distant people on Facebook. They are looking at their phone like this. While people are waiting to talk with them here. But now, slowly, what frightens me more is nobody is waiting to talk with anyone. All are looking at phones.
mm, mm. What's your take
पहले
on this? What should we do, Annie, according to
मैंने
you?
पहले प्लेन में ऐसा होता था कि once in 100 we used to talk with a fellow person. But now we have all downloaded Netflix stuff to keep us engaged for next 3 hours in planes.
Yes. There also we don't communicate. We are no more social. I think like before the animals, they used to lose their hands and legs for not using that. Maybe we are gonna lose our senses. I think this is gonna happen in coming days if
And
that is the case.
how right you are. I give you a great example. There is a movie Wall-E करके, which tells us about robots taking our world. In that, they have shown human beings stuck with their chairs like this. They are stuck with their chairs. So, question was asked to this to the writer: why are you portraying human beings like this? He said, because we will stop any more usage of our body, so our spinal cord will become weak one day. But that's an exaggerated something which may or may not happen in the future, but the idea is very rightly captivating.
Yes, I
That
think
is what
this
the
is gonna
plan.
happen in by time, yeah,
By that time, it may happen.
because we're not using our senses, man. It's a big problem then. This completes with me like today's like any great session, but I want to have a quick rapid session with you. So see to see how you will answer, because rapid question is something which is yeah, you have to tell it in few words, 1 or 5 words, and it's not just like any long list of questions. It's sometimes completing the words also,
Okay.
So when I ask, let me see like how it is going to be. I'm definitely. I feel like I can sit with you for like more than 2 to 3 hours at a stretch.
Alhamdulillah.
But the one of the comments which I'm constantly getting. But I said you cannot have a conversation in 10 minutes. Impossible, and you are not gonna get that information or the wisdom behind any point you are discussing or having a dialogue. Please, Yani, if you cannot do it, you can skip it if you are so much, smart enough to, comprehend things, So I'm like, if you cannot handle 1 hour, what about those who are sitting for 3 hours, 4 hours, going deep conversations for dialogues? We have this weekly dialogue conversations, and I feel like every week we feel like it's not enough. We still have a lot to share, Yani. And alhamdulillah, we are like around 15 to 20 people. We listen to each other and so many perspectives. I never even thought of it. It's something which I'm like every week I wait for, and I'm glad that we have that some kind of groups, and I wish everybody will have it. But coming to you with rapid fire questions, I have a few questions. So when I tell wisdom, what comes to your mind?
Sitting near the feet of an initiated mentor who can tell us everything about the coming world while deriving the lessons from yesterday's world. That is wisdom.
Okay,
When we
good.
sit at the feet of a mentor who can tell us everything what is going to happen based on his knowledge of the past.
Mm,
So wisdom in one line means, dear past, thank you for your lessons. Dear future, I am ready.
interesting. When I say alifs,
Alifs, Academy of Life and Futuristic Sciences, where we comprehend and understand the world and we prepare our people so nicely that they don't become irrelevant in the coming machine age. Rather, they have a cutting edge over machines.
how about dreams and visions?
Vision is where we want to go one day, what dream of ours we would like to become a reality. That is vision. Mission is, what shall I do now so that I take one step closer to that dream.
Hmm.
So vision is one day what we want to achieve, and mission is, what am I doing right now to go nearer to that vision. And
Hmm.
all the great people of this world, they have exceeded their vision.
Yeah.
They have exceeded their vision.
How about uh, the language?
See, this is such an emotional question you asked, and that too in rapid fire.
I'll give
Language
you as a
is
follow-up, yeah, no problem.
language is like having a second soul. Language is like having a second soul inside the same body. English has more execution words. Arabic has more spiritual words. Hindi has more words which will take you nearer to wealth. Chinese has more storytelling, wisdomful words. Urdu has many inherent qualities derived from many languages. English is all encompassing. It takes 40 new words every year in its dictionary. While other languages, what wrong they do is they discard many words as not Arabic, not this and not that. That is the reason English is ruling the world, while other languages are losing relevance.
Interesting observation. Yeah.
तो लैंग्वेज में एक चीज बहुत अच्छी बताऊं मैं आपको. ठग लफ्ज है जो ठग is the word which has taken from India.
Yes.
Shampoo, the word has taken from champu, champi करने से.
Ah. Anyway.
So these are the words they take every year. Merriam-Webster and Oxford, they publish a list of 400 words they have taken now new. Our languages we keep discarding. Do you know what is my favorite language?
Yeah.
To everyone's surprise, it is Marathi. And that is one of the reasons my Urdu pronunciation is so bad.
Ah.
The Marathi is so near to my heart
Yes.
because Marathi is more speaking of that culture and geography of Maharashtra where I live. So mother tongue बोलते हैं ना जिसको वैसा है.
And with this, we conclude first part of the session, and we are gonna get back on second session with some more questions and more detailed dialogue. And thank you so much for watching, and see you next session or next week. Thank you so much.